So ukuyekelwa ngabafazi to rot like this is as a result of this cult. Well, le cult yenu, I already explained this dream. I'm not going to labor on it, okay? I'm not going to labor because I've explained it at length with all the details therein at least 4 times in my ministry. And since at the tribulation, when the rapture has happened, since people are going to transcribe my content, you are going to happen upon even very old videos that now today nobody would scroll down my YouTube channel to find. You would not go out of your way to find it, but every last one of my videos that are public on YouTube, because some of the stuff I've made private, every last one of my public videos on YouTube is going to be transcribed once the rapture has happened. So you will eventually find the full dream, the full scope of it. I don't want to, it was long and it was multifaceted. There were many nuances, many colors to it. But these barriers to entry that I'm enduring right now is because of me knowing this. When I was going at Sharina, living away from Wi-Fi, I was not even online. For years, I was underground. I was not posting anything. This cult was still after me. Because while I was still posting on YouTube, I shared that dream and they decided, Losio Mfehla. She found out about our cult. We can't let her speak. When I came back to YouTube, they were like over our dead body. And for the past 2 to 2.5 years, throwing at me anything that can come my way. Be the guy in the US because he is a perfect, perpetual persecutor of my person. However, all the other rest of these men that keep on coming at me, they're just a product of this cult. They are just minions. They're mindless drones. They are in a trance. They don't even realize their misogyny and how they hate women, and their insistence on isitembu, like having multiple girlfriends, multiple wives, polygamy. They don't even realize that it has been inspired in them by a overarching cult in this country that runs the nation. It literally runs the country. It's sitting in parliament. It is sitting in executives in the entertainment industry. Lo and behold, a few years down the line from that particular dream that I got, I started to notice on television when I was watching it, because I had been away from the TV for some time. But when I started watching TV again, I started to notice in shows like Uzalo, in shows like Isibaya, in shows like Rhythm City, in show basically Scheme Sam, I started to pick up a trend of the creation of inyatsi out of characters of women that were above reproach, and yet now they are having affairs with the husbands of other women. They started to become basically a beloved character in a show that you would think is a good woman, out here literally having an affair with a married man. And then I started to notice that this affair with the married man would graduate to her being made a second wife. Remember Katlacho's mom in Scheme Sam, how she had an affair with the dad of I forget the names of these people, but the lead character, Mapiti's boyfriend, I forget. I forgot his name. But the lead character, Wako Scheme Sam, his dad had an affair with one of his boys' moms. And I started to notice, Uti, not only were they introducing this phenomenon, but the mistress and the Nyazi phenomenon, not only was the mistress or the Nyazi phenomenon happening with women that were regarded by the audience as good girls, like, just a struggling mom, like a character that you would come to love. Their character was not built from scratch to be villainous. She was not a villain. The character was not built to be a villain. She wasn't exactly a Ntsiki from Generations, but she was just a good girl, a good girl that's struggling. And then she becomes a villain that's sleeping with a married man, the married man of which started out as a good husband to his wife. And they were happy, the two of them married for years. And then next thing, he's having an affair with yet another good woman in the show. And then couple of episodes down the line, Isitembu siya recommendwa. Second wife ya recommendwa. Next thing, lead character Arja be having a step brother out of Impinchake from school because his mom had an affair with his dad, until his dad convinced his mom, who was completely dependent on his dad, to embrace this other woman as a second wife. It happened as Scheme Sam, Uzalo, Rhythms, whatever shows in this country that I was busy watching at the time. I've stopped watching a whole bunch of South African entertainment because now I'm on Netflix a whole bunch, and South Africa young boy. Mara, I am certain that whole cultic theme is still in operation namhlanje, where it is that kuyachadiswa in a polygamous marriage abafazi right, abasiphethe kahle. Umama kaKatlego Eskim Sam was a good woman. She was just a good woman. Mekamuhle futhi. She was just a struggling single mom on a push up passion. That's it. And then next thing she becomes a villain. Siyamzonda ngoba have an affair le ntatongwana bathu. Only for them to introduce later on the prospect of her becoming a second wife to this guy. It happened with Puleng and Kimang go Rhythm City. Ass like it, guys. They would go. It happened with Kim Sam, Rhythm City, etc. And I remember just thinking, when I was seeing these things, now that I was recovered to watching television, seeing as Nikis will go TV for some years, then I ended up watching it again because I had nothing else to do with myself. When I noticed this, I was like, God gave me a dream, and He showed Uguti among the perpetrators of the country at large are entertainment industry executives. Their strategy was to infiltrate through basically the entertainment industry and its influence and subliminal messaging, the acceptability in the country by women, the accepting by women of, what do you call this, bunyatsi, not only mistress status, because I also saw it happen with some of my girls that were good girls out here allowing themselves to be some side pieces and mistresses to married men. I was like, since when, girl? You're only 23. You don't have to do this, and yet a woman that would never under heaven have ever slept with a married man is out here clandestinely having an affair with a married man. I saw it, like I said, happen in my own crew of friends. I saw what happened in the entertainment industry. These men, they have injected into the nation polygamy. Not only that, the acceptance of a whole chunk of rubbish by women, because they imagine that the way to weaken the woman is to make men stronger above them in every respect, materially, etc., cause a moral degradation of women, make them content to do random stuff like sleep with married men, like sleep with bosses to get jobs, like create a moral degradation, basically divide and conquer, and then grab second wives and cause discord between women, cause women ukuthi bangathandani and not have each other's back. And then also make sure that you use a whole bunch of witchcraft to keep them in a trance, and also use a whole bunch of witchcraft to make sure that the only growing socio-economic margin is that of men and not of women. So men's businesses are helped along while women's businesses are thwarted and the chick has to go back to corporate South Africa. Let me walk outside because the sun is setting. Okay, I'm outside. Yeah, this cult, the intention is to comprehensively just destroy the fabric of South African society in its entirety. Shoo, the sun in my face, is to destroy the fabric of South African society by destroying women, but that's not how they see it. That's not how they view it. Like I said, the gender-based violence issue in the country was collateral damage. It was an unexpected byproduct. It is what they call a casualty for war. They produced GBV because the thing about using magic is that it uses spirits. They introduced a whole bunch of men into the cults, into the occult, and occult magic makes people aggressive and unreasonable. So men just started butchering women all over the show. That was a collateral damage. They were not intending for all this homicide to slap the country. They just wanted to simmer down the strength of women, but it resulted in gender-based violence because those women who do resist being run, they get killed. They just get mowed under cars. And here it is that I now am about to die from it, but I guess I will share what I can until such time that that eventuality eventually happens. I keep on looking at God on some Lord, like, when are you taking me out of this country? I can't stay here. Like, I can't. And especially not after the news that I heard yesterday, especially not with the way that my mom is obviously at present, like, ingathi usebenzela one of these men. Like, my mom has recently just been so unreasonable where I am concerned, like basic stuff that I need. She doesn't say no. in so many words, but days will go, and the thing in will still not come. Like basic stuff, like painkillers for my period. You saw the other day how I walked to the store. Got 20 randa. The other day I walked to the store, got 20 randa. Kilo rega the painkillers for my period. Because mewaka literally like hanne, not in so many words. She didn't say no. She just ignored me. I asked her, I told her, I'm about to go on my period. Go buy the painkillers. I ended up walking to the store. Kilo rega the painkillers. I ended up going to the store. Kilo rega compral. You will remember that video that I did 2 days ago. Because Masadi Moholo ki mohariken. It's like she's trying. It's like she's saying in not so many words, Kaofela, we had to do what we had to do. Holo thola mesebetsi hape after re lahlegelwa ke mesebetsi. Mme wa ka was born in 1958 and she was already under this crazy spirit. So how long has it been in operation? I don't know. Abafazi that have allowed themselves to get spent are literally setting women up for failure. Like me. Basantsane ba holdile to their guns to a point of being so below the belt that umuntu wesifazana uzoqala ama tampon and period pain killers on her period, and another woman will literally say, "Ay, utlohana musadi uto." Bachong, a woman literally saying, "Utlay born on your period, dog." I am not asking you to get a phone. I'm not asking you to buy me a cell phone. I'm asking you to help me out getting painkillers on my period. And you are walking away. Wahana. Like just like that. Wahana. That's what's going on. I am dealing with like they have frozen me with no resources, nothing. With no one coming through because Karabo. There's a way out of this. Take it or leave it. And I'm telling you right now, I am not going to for the past decade. I will not swim under it. It's not a matter of pride. This is not pride talking, Lankutwa. I'm not proud. If you're gonna die anyway at the hands of a man, why the heck would you throw yourself into that ecosystem? And company got, I would rather kill myself. That's what y'all need to understand. It's not pride. I kitlo nyadiswa monna o ke sa mmatleng. I kitlo fufulelwa ke sebotho. I'm not gonna have some man that set me up for failure, making sure I can't even buy my tampons and my painkillers. I'm not gonna have a man like that. Finally move the baguettes into ntlu ya hae. Because nna ke khathetse. Nkampani ka ipolaya la nkutla. Letlo olla setopo saka on the wherever. Mompetong se hengile. Fast before nna ke tlo ipha monna o jwalo. Nkampani ka tlhokafala. I'd rather take a risk by taking myself out. That's what you must understand. Nkampani ka riska. I'd rather risk. I would rather risk sinning against God by taking myself out and risking your eternal fire. If at all suicide leads to hell, then to settle finally for this thing. According to her, this is a necessary evil. We all had to do something. This thing makes horrible mothers. It makes horrible sisters. It makes horrible friends. It literally causes abo mama ukuthi bayoprostitute indodakazi zabo. A man will go and destroy umfazi, and then the same woman will years later say to her daughter, o sentsene o ipupile, o sentsene o itshwere hantle, o sentsene ona no rona le motlotlang. She is freaking experimenting to see if I could accommodate anything eng shelang eng wilengwe. That's what my mom is presently doing. That's what my older sister the other day was doing to me. Labantu are throwing me to eternity. They're throwing me to eternity. Sile ngwana hae a sotlo a ntse le busy mo strateng a etsa di video while cars drive by and others see that because ke mo strateng. How about we do a death ritual or a chase ke koloi? Ntwe mo ka etsang le ke ha le ka tlhaloganya e qadilwe. It started ke cult ya ko KwaZulu-Natal. There is a cult in KZN. Its head offices are there. Ba borwa ke strength sa basadi ha ba di kene. And so they are sowing discord in families. They are orphaning kids just to make sure they handle steam or photo sabasadi. And the sad thing about my case is that there are enough people listening to me that would make this a travesty if I would end up dead. Ba nang di ditsebetsa soba, mara that keep on doing what they call calling my bluff. Mamelang, if Jesus does not harness me out of South Africa, I'm not going to keep living this life. That's what you must understand. Not only that, I'm also never going to accommodate any of these filthy men. On their threshing floor, they're only one call away. Cult is so destroying South Africa that finally the fruits of it are starting to show. The fruit of this cult are starting to manifest. I told you, members of parliament, presidents, businessmen, members of parliament, businessmen, celebrities, business executives. No, let me not say celebrities. Let me rather say entertainment industry execs that are in a position to recruit celebs. If they were to be, if they knew hore phate e ba idlalang ko Movango, ko Generations, ko Scheme Sam, ko Rhythm City, ko Uzalo, if they knew hore the intention is to destroy abafazi base South Africa, babantu bamnyama, they would quit amacareer wabo. Nomza Mombata would stop acting. Jessica Nkosi would stop acting. You must understand, men and women alike banga quita imisebenzi yabo if they were to find out, to know what the true intention behind the part that they are playing in a show is trying to achieve. They would never stand for it. So basically we are all held hostage. This is a state capture. That's why you can fight for your country as much as you want. But if there are people in a state capture that are going to make a decision, even the strongest of your veterans, the strongest of your warriors, the strongest of your struggle heroes, bazogcina bazibulalela indaba yokuthi into hayistophe. Ngasikhona nina lophela more a country like this. I can't. South Africa has been taken over, and this state capture has made it impossible for girls, women to live. And in Nahe having the kind of spiritual gifting that I have, seeing as I am thoroughly aware of what's actually going on the street, guys, I am not going to throw myself into the very curse that God is showing me is killing the country. Which is why why in this position, because you can tell that I'm 5 seconds away from hanging on a noose. You can tell every morning I wake up planning, I wake up scheming, I wake up ideating. How can I take myself out? Every day I wake up with some kind of a plan in my head as to how to knock myself out. How you gonna just leave me so freaking suicidal? Because every single day to deal with yet another man with basic stuff being withheld from me by the way that they are so below the belt. How in the world you gonna do that? Sister ngicela mina imali for ukuthenga cell phone or skip sinja or ikatulu. I am on my monthlies, and when a woman cannot have compassion on a woman on her period, when you tell me tissue, more the prospect of dealing with pains like papa, when you're telling me I'm sorry, you are literally prostituting me in broad daylight. You are a freaking madam pimp. You are a brothel owner. There's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else to look. I've got so much work that I am yet to share online. And the way pilwaka eling bereft kating, the way killing out of my mind kating, kasoro, the way holing botloko today kating, keep feeling like I'm not even gonna get to share all my work. I feel like I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it because the spirit young foster. And the thing that also made me realize right, that's causing me to want to throw in the towel, give a like out of this world, take a risk, is in Dabayoguti. That they've been pushing le banna ba bantse ba busy ba tlapa basadi banna ba bantse ba busy ba bolaya basadi a keta mo ba chop up the body parts tsa bona ba ba chesa ba ba beya go di fields. This gender-based violence, this rape culture, this spirit ya bunyatsi, and also the spirit sa what do you call this sa isitembu, the embracing again by especially black women of isitembu, like second wives, third wives, and fourth wives. The perpetual acceptance of this thing over all these years. Remember, I got this dream already in 2014-15. That was 10 years ago. And however, the thing has not been going on for just 10 years. I just got a dream about it about 10 years ago to explain what was happening with me. But I said, Ukuti, while I might have been going through this for 10 years, Kunaba Faiz have been going through it for 15 years, 25 years. Umawam was born in 1958. She went through it. It's been going on for too freaking long. It's what I'm getting at. And in the cult, it became stronger. Even more feverish after apartheid ended. Umandela has thrown you to the dogs of satanic magic. Your leaders are evil. The parliament government is evil. I'm not saying go fela bona ke di satane. Mara let's go tshepa motho mongwe le mongwe out here with big fat chunky promises, because from what the Lord showed me, they come here and they fight in broad daylight. ANC, EFF, they shake hands behind closed doors. They are proliferating a strategy. And do not make a mistake. No, Jacob Zuma being e-president of South Africa during the time when he became e-president, it catalyzed this thing because Zuma was married to multiple women. Zuma was a polygamist and he was a corrupt man. And after Uzuma, it just spiked even more. After Zuma it spiked even more. So when the head of state, when your nation's leader, all extremely corrupt, is benefiting from this thing, just juicing it, then you must comprehend, you must understand that we're already done for. And in this prison for 2 years. Do not get nervous when one of these guys, don't think that any justice is being served at all. When, you know how, for instance, with the case here, Diddy in the US, it is speculated that they needed a scapegoat. And so it was Diddy's time to ukijwa. Njengo Jeffrey Epstein, they speculated that they needed a scapegoat. So, bakhethu Jeffrey. Kodwa bakhona abanye that do what Jeffrey was doing. Bakhona abanye that are doing what Diddy was doing. Whole bunch of celebrities out here freaking out now that Diddy is being indicted. It's not that Diddy was the only one with his hands extremely grabby. It's that Bamkhetile. So, however, the rest of us down here in these streets, we are made to look dumb by saying at least justice finally gets served, at least the wicked finally get handled, until you discover Uguti, even the indictment of Diddy was something done in secret, matsogo a shakiwa, and people making a decision, Uguti, we gotta sacrifice one of ours, we gotta sacrifice one of our own, one of our people, so it'll look as if though this world is still a livable place, so it can look as if though this world is still an environment where people can get justice. This world is still an environment where bad men can get caught. So we have to call out one of our own and throw their stuff on the floor, expose their dirty laundry. And if they commit suicide, so what? If they, that's the sad thing about the occult, they can pick your number any day. They can make a decision, Noguti, where now you're the one that's going to be our sacrificial lamb. They always have to have a sacrificial lamb. So let's get Jacob Zuma being the sacrificial lamb. Don't look at him going to prison. Don't look at him, the scandal, and everything, and think, at least they do something about presidents. Gimo sacrificial lamb went down, Jacob Zuma, right? And then he was set free shortly afterwards, wasn't it? Not only that, but look at Cyril Ramaphosa. That scandal came and went. It was slid under the rug, but it just disappeared. It disappeared. Nobody knows what's going on. I mean, that kind of indiscretion and corruption should cause the impeachment of any sitting president, and yet he was just let go. He is our head of state, and the way le moratang ka teng because he covers his entire face when he's doing a COVID-19 speech. Ka mask, you will think Uguti, it's nothing, and very shortly afterwards some other new scandal will rock up on the scene, and you will completely forget that honal tjhelete ngata that is obviously criminal money. Eba ithotseng go phala farm under Cyril Ramaphosa. There is always a sacrificial lamb to make it look as if though every so often there is due process available for victims. Every so often there is due process available for people who are done dirty. Ama victims wakhona awatoli reprieve. There are people buried deep in the ground that will never come out because wapatilo ke batho bana, and their families will never get justice. Kuyathuliswa nje all over the show. Handshakes going on all over. That's why like with this kind of rubbish going on, the world has to end. It has to end. These rodents that are chilling in plumbing, because now those of us who get dreams and visions to see all the rubbish that they do, Karabo is literally facing suicide. Every single day, every single day, every single day, there is a risk where I'm not going to make it to the end of the day. How long am I going to keep on rocking up mona? How long am I going to keep on rocking up mona and prophesy? Mara, the depression is real, and the demonic attack are real, and enjoying your tongue it's happening. Cheka monna o go batlang go nyala ka nkane o tlo batlang go fufulelwa ba go fa chelete o sa matle. That's the kind of stuff that some women would say nkampane ka tlhokafala, then nna ke tlo ba Jada Pinkett go set it off rather than be Kimang. Who is this chick? What's her name? Bontle Mudiselle. Go Love Piano Love, whatever, that movie. I did a video about that thing the other day, where it is that when some filthy animal grunting on top of you, finally o khalanza go batla mara o go setile up for failure, o go setile up go se ba o se bosa ka ba le next, o go setile up lo re le mateng a sa gone le go rekela di tampon, o go setile up le ya proper hore rather than o tlo fufulelwa ke se botho seo o kampane wa le basadi ba kampane baya to eternity lankutla. And not every one of them has what is the security that I have in Christ. If I would go to heaven, because I have been scared of it for years. Mara, these days I wake up ideating it every single day. Every day could be my last. I promise you right now, I am freaking terminally ill. And my sickness is being made worse and worse. And I want to buy it. But busy but all these years and strong. So I'm not gonna do it now. I haven't done it in 10 years, so I'm unlikely gonna do it. But I'll try a shock of their lives one day, because I tampon A1 on my period. What the heck? At least some of these other women know these men are perverts. But they know that these men are ridiculous perverts. Do you understand? And that's the thing that makes them disgusted. Mara, that's all they know. All they know is that they're dealing with a pervert. All they know is that they're dealing with a sexual deviant. That's all they know. Not only perversion, mara ke tseba hape le hore motho o nwa madi, motho o bala le banna in a satanic ritual, motho o etsa di human sacrifice ritual, motho wa bolaya fela le fela, motho o sekile a zama ho bolaya haka. My ex-boyfriend is another one o ba mo rekutileng mo di culting tsena. The guy has tried to kill me twice. I too. My ex-boyfriend has tried to do a satanic ritual ya ho bolaya I too. Mara recently o entse bring back lost lover happy. Kabang not only hore o dila le pervert, mara on top of perversion ya teng, motho a teng sekile a go zama high too. O ka gutlela wena morago le motho o sekile a go shapa ka slepe mona mara o bo survive. O bo ya spetleleng ba go stitch up. Would you get back into the house of a man like that? Indoda ekhaya yakwaza kay 10 waphila kodwa ungambulaya. Would you get back together with him? Would you? No. They're just freaking dangerous. These men, because the remote, the spiritual. Habang lahlela ka di spells tsa go chase ka koloi, di spells tsa go nketsa go commit suicide, di spells tsa eng ke arabela and I overcome. Be ke phela hape. So ha go bonagale because the wounds are spiritual. The attempts are spiritual. The scar on my torso that would have been from a knife wound is spiritual. I bonagal. So all of their attempted murder on me, all of their wheelchair because khalentse bang chase ka koloi mo strateng a ketsa di video. It's spiritual. It's freaking spiritual. Akubonakali. So njengoba ungabonakali kanjena, it looks as if mina angaze ngiklapwa indoda. It looks as if mina angaze ngigwazwa sorry indoda. It looks as if angaze mina ngithelwe ngepetrol bese indoda ya light matches yangishisa. It does not show. It looks as if though akisoka kithintwa ke monna also mara nna jwanong a setse monna ang setile a light ka paraffin be ke tlo jola lena la matota. The thing is nyazi ukuthi kudala bangizama ngemithi. The guy from America aketse bi dikerese tse ikae tsantsa di chisa azama ngipolaya. A satanic ritual anza lighter kerese I lighter. By the end of that candle I'm supposed to be dead. By the time I fell like kerese ya teng tshwantse ke be ke tlhoka fetse. Monna o sekileng angzama ha 30. 30 is a small number, Joe. Lendo da lena they were yes like I can see the kerese tsa di chiseng di kae maybe di ka by 45 47. The way that he's tried so many times to end me, so many. He's hired a satanist from what is this, Jamaica. Uhirile monna wa ko Jamaica. Mosadi wako Jamaica who blogger YouTube channel yaka ntsali busy going back to drawing board time and time again indoda ekhe yangizama ka 47 ukungibulala kaze mina ngizojolelani naye lona basadi haibane you would not ever get back together with a man osekileng a go tlhaba ga 5. Why do you expect me re ke lo go tlhokelo go tlhelana le monna osekileng a tlhaba ga 5? Well, ke mo he I've got a mother ontwetsang gore ka fela Karabo we had to do whatever we had to do to get ahead. Ka fela le gona re latlhegetswe ke mosebetsi for a season re sena next ra lo fufulelwa rona mara wena ona no go special. And I keep saying le ndoda le ekhe yangizama futhi nokungibulala. How you gonna let me suffer under the hands of a man that's once put 10 knife wounds in my torso? Ke wangibulala lo muntu. I just lived because ke ngwana modimo. Ke survive the death rituals abona cause ke rapela mara I'm not invincible. I am exactly like Achilles. I have a heel. Situation and I don't polaya. If it's not stopped somewhere along the way, if Mudimu does not miraculously harness me out of the situation, I'm not gonna make it. I know, mara, because my wounds hadibona khali, they are spiritual, which is worse than physical. They keep trying and experimenting. Women keep standing back. They keep on putting me in the path of men that hake hana bona. After mutwaetsa korobela or bring back lost love, unshapa kampama. Wang pusha down the stairs. Chasisa ka koloi mo strateng. Chisa ka paraffin. Khaba ka thipa ga 20. Mabane ke lorile ke le setopo mo godima dirope tsa monna. Melwaka o rotha madi. Ke sentsene ke hema mara. And he was waiting for me to finally be exsanguinated. They keep trying again and again, and one day somebody's gonna succeed. Somebody. Of which the only reason I would be the only reason why I would be sitting on his lap is because onangzama pele ka korobela. Onangzama pele ka bring back lost love. Onangzama pele ka ha o ka ba le nna o tla phela. The gender-based violence epidemic in the country is as a result of that. It's as a result of that. Amantota who, because I feel entitled thanks to witchcraft of which is spirits of which cause people to be evil because they're demons. When they are rejected, they manifest violence. And so women end up dead for resisting witchcraft. That's what's going on. This cult did not sign up for the GBV issue. So if you go to police stations across South Africa, gender-based violence, this is how we deal with gender-based violence. Like proper, for the past couple of years, South Africa has been literally declared the worst country to live in as a woman. But we all know that it's black women that have got that problem. Not every woman, but they would never ever say black women only because they're trying to make it look like it's ubiquitous. And because labafazi that they're trying to deal a bad blow tend to be black that are suffering under this cult in this country. And South Africa it's an African country. South Africa is an African country. So therefore the majority of people here are black. At least it's a Southern African country. The majority of us are black. This nation is black. So if you afflict the biggest demographic in a country of women, you are destroying a country, period. So now we have got the worst statistics to live in as a woman. We've got the worst stats when it comes to the health and safety of women. More men convert to gay, trans, bisexualism then it's absolutely necessary because of tabore. In order to be members of these cults, and they develop an interest in that kind of sex. Young guys in the club and offer them 10,000 rands if they will sleep with them. Because by experience, like once you have gone and had anal sex, zama to carry on. Mara tshaba to go into a gay bar. And hape tshaba lo ho ya go a guy in Jefela that you have a crush on. So you will literally go to nightclubs, you will go to gasis, and you will tap on the shoulders of 17-year-olds that are struggling at home with their parents, and you will say, I'll give you 10,000 rands if you will sleep with me. And so that's how these guys are coming out. They are coming out baligay, and that's why you are finding on social media, what do you call this, on Netflix, not Netflix, man, what do you call this thing, TikTok, so many little videos of a whole bunch of girly men wearing wigs, doing skits by pretty wiki, the makeup, the face, you are finding that it's a spirit. And it has been sparked by this cult because one of the biggest rituals that are beneficial to proliferate a person's agenda along in the occult is to have sex anally. So lama tota are made to have sex with each other. Bese bayolanda abantwana benu in the club, converting them, changing them, shifting them over. Next thing umuntu uyafika la doing a whole freaking face beat on TikTok, and you think ukuthi uLontuza has always been like that. No, he hasn't. Uthatwe indoda from the street la when he was just 15 years old, from the school playground. Bese when he was 18, 19, decided ukuthi he's going to come out, when he was never ever supposed to go out like that. That's what's happening. So basically the entire fabric of South African society has been ruined by Lama Tota. So hence why I'll give it to you. You sure know how to sting, because you have stung me. You have put me at the end of myself. I told you, I am Achilles, I have a heel, I might be strong, I might be monolithically strong, but I am not invincible. I'm not invincible. Lendolena is gonna take me out. If God does not snatch me out from this country in totality, I will not make it. I can't tell you what your pillar is. Mara, for as long as Umawam keeps on withholding from me basic things like painkillers on my period, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Small little things. The thing is that that's what hurts even more. My own mom is trying to prostitute me. That is what kills me more even than painkillers on my period. My own mother is one of these filthy women that are out here throwing other women at the mercy of Amatota Abolil. It has a root cause, and the one person that was out here protagonizing, being a protagonist, speaking out against it on the rooftops, because you stood back and did nothing. You've been made mindless drones by little matron mama. The few women that were hired to keep women in check have kept you such mindless drones with your 9-to-5s, have kept you such mindless drones with your basic corporate jobs. You had to sleep with men to get ahead, that you have literally left Umfazi that highlighted a big fat chunky problem in the country. You let her die. So right now, situation if it results in don't pitch at my funeral. This video is going to be up on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube. So if you rock up, because I have brought you out washing aparo. Khutlia ha ke bua ka best friend go ke bua ka mang, khutlia ha ke bua ka ex-boyfriend go ke bua ka mang, khutlia ha ke bua ka bo osi go ke bua ka mang, ka cousin ke bua ka mang, khutlia ho ga ke bua ka mme ke bua ka mang. You all know hore ke bua ka mang. So if you pitch your ugly faces at ngwabonwam ke bathong ke ha ba ka le sheba ka s ke ha ba ka khwa se khotlela on the floor as you walk in, like that's why there was a video that I did where I said hore ha nka tlhokafala ke kopantse fela ntlogele ke be Jane Doe ya state. South Africa ilong chesa or give my organs to science. Something else. Let's go lata, let's go claim milwaka. Ereba long kata up go Wits University go med school. Kilo experiment with student teng, because there is a far better handling of my dead body than Lena. Let's go kenya mole kasing le milling from a policy of Babo Lankutla. Let's go kenya mole kasing le little pata the undertaker, little pata the caterer. Let's spend the child sense. Lankut on Lifulamoto that didn't have to happen. Upaleska tlong patang ntlogeleng ko moshwaring babe bang pate as the South African government. Kilo cheswa fela in a crematorium. It doesn't matter. It is appointed unto man to die once, and thereafter is the judgment. Lankutla. So uruweza lanka na mayamutu is really irrelevant. I said in one of my videos this country that my ashes are not going to be here. That dust santa is not ever going to be reconciled with South African soil. But should things get to that point, sorry, coroners bankisa ko some public mortuary after days of not being claimed, because that's exactly what you did to impilo yam in the run up to umoya wam is not going to be here. And so for those reasons, it won't really matter. Frankly, even at this particular juncture, I'm happy that my body parts, my organs should be given over to abantu that want to live in these streets. Go and take my liver. This body of mine that's healthy. One of my cousins did a cancer spell on me for cancer. I cancer things. It's not healthy. My liver, somebody that is out here dealing with an alcohol problem. Not my liver, like kidneys. Snacks. Let that happen. After which part, the remaining parts of Karabo, Hlongwane, South African government, because that if they refuse, they tell themselves in a dustbin. Let that happen. Let that happen. I get as a South African citizenship because your Satanism. Before I will ever end up in the house of that freak, I will kill myself. I am not going to make it. I am not. I'm doing this video just to let you guys know where things have gotten to a point where eventually I'm gonna capitulate or I will die. You have told yourself that there are only two ways out of the situation. I get right. That you think I get right. That's what you must understand. Mabani, when I was watching videos on YouTube, I happened upon something shared by this woman called Pearl Coupe. I actually was drawn rather to the title, more than even knowing who that woman is. She calls herself an apostle. I don't believe women can be apostles. So one of those self-titling people, but nonetheless I listened because of the title. And the title said that argument or against proposed marriage bill. Please go listen to that video. Argument against proposed marriage bill. And I saw a South African flag in her thumbnail. So I realized that she was speaking about South Africa. That's why I clicked on her. It's only a 12-minute video. It's a video ya Paul Coupe. Coupe lelo tlhaloganya hore strategy se bang seng modimang feeling sona se modimo ang lorisitseng sona. Side this cult in KZN that came down to all the other provinces. The strategy in the cult in KwaZulu that came down from all the other provinces. Hore ifeletse guy. Khale ba ibatla. It manifested finally into physical reality. All along you've been looking at me like busy prophesy for 10 years. South Africa sense. Well, this video ya Pearl Coupe, it's Pearl Coupe, Pearl K-U-P-E. The title of this video is Argument Against Proposed Marriage Bill. The thumbnail has got the South African flag on it. Click on it. Essentially, Pearl is speaking in what looks like some kind of a hearing against this bill that is proposed. And what is this bill saying? This bill is trying to accommodate men taking more than one wife, not under customary law, because that's already allowable, but under common law. When I warned you, get chill. Now they are proposing it in a bill, legislation, and you still don't think your president is trying to destroy the country? You still don't think parliament is trying to destroy the country? You still trust our politicians? You still believe in Julius Malema, ANC? You still believe it? You still believe Lamatota that have basically left the country? I mean, proper. Why are you trying to take second wives when we don't have lights because of load shedding? It's a Hegelian dialectic. They have destroyed the country so they can fix it in their own image, in their own patriarchy. they have proposed a marriage bill. There was another marriage bill that was resisted by this one colored lawyer. And that bill was basically to award young children from as early as 12 to have abortions without permission from their parents, and to also force them to take sex education training in school that involves teaching them how to masturbate. That was another proposed bill from years ago, that this colored woman was out here trying to lament against Uguti Inga Paswe, but it was a proposed bill. Who the heck is out here proposing bills like those in the government? Who? While somebody out here went and proposed a bill that men should be allowed to take second wives under common law so as to eradicate divorce, and then remarrying under customary law when a man makes a decision to wake up at the way one day in a marriage to take a second wife. Because that's how that works. If you are married under common law, any woman that is willing to take in her stride a second wife, another woman coming in, divorce under common law, and then remarry under customary, so that you can take as many wives as possible. Now they want to make under the common law it possible to marry more than one wife. That is a proposed bill in the country, when we've got all our boys out here wearing the kwai on TikTok, when our daughters are being trained from the age of 12 how to masturbate, when gender-based violence is skyrocketing, ba prioritize go thusa banna gore ba nyala dinyatsi under customary law, so under common law. So basically noma uchate under common law wena as umfazi, you can't even take tembo yokuthi uyindoda yakho is not gonna rock up flying like a bat out of hell one day and be like, baby, I want a second wife, and foot you don't even have to divorce me first. We can just basically under the common law have you come in. South Africa is becoming a brand spanking new Middle East Langudra. It's becoming a brand spanking new Afghanistan. It's becoming a Christ nation hating nation that also hates women, that also keeps women in a bunch, that doesn't want women to study, that doesn't want women to have freedoms. This proposed marriage bill did not say that women and men can take as many husbands and wives under this as they want. They said just men can take wives. So Ipoli Emery, what Paul Coupe's argument was saying was that if at all you allow this bill to pass, you are basically opening a can of worms to allow many other permutations of this bill to come to pass. And it's the thing that I always like to say time and time again. When you sin against God in one fashion, you open an avenue for so many other things to happen. There are people in the LGBTQ community that despise transgender people teaching kids how to be gay. And for me, it's like, okay, so you've got morals when I as a gay man. But bottom line is that sexual perversion that you are walking in brought forth the bravado of the transgender community teaching kids how to be like them. Not only that, it brought forth the bravado of kids out here from before they even know themselves taking puberty blockers, preventing themselves from being fully boys or fully girls. Because of what you started, there are pedophiles out here properly trying to have their sexuality acknowledged. It is when you start a small little perversion that eventually the rest of them come to pass, until such time that then some people in the section of this perversion will be like, no matter, this is wrong. Where do you get off calling something wrong when you started a crazy thing? Where do you get off? Pearl Coupe's argument was right. Why? Because she was saying that you accommodate first men taking a whole bunch of wives. Women are gonna raise up and be like, Natis Funutata my husbands. And then because under the South African Constitution, you cannot discriminate against anybody based on gender. The women will then be like, oh, this law is unconstitutional because it says that only men can take second and third wives. So how about you let us also take second and third wives? So this law will then start to grow fangs. It'll start to beef up. It'll start to become a whole big fat chunky island appearing in the middle of the ocean that has got a whole bunch of zombies on it. And so now we're going to be dealing with polyamory. We are now going to be dealing with literally marriages being feasible and allowable under the South African law, where it is that you've got a husband that has got 4 wives, and in the same marriage there are 3 husbands. What the heck? Sodom. We are looking at orgies inside what are called marriages. On that day, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett don't have to swing anymore. They can just marry everybody they want to sleep with and call all of them husband and wife, respectively. You will literally overwhelm even what Mormons do with taking 20,000 wives. It's a sexual perversion, and in this country they're allowing it. It is no wonder that God is going to cease this nation from being a country in the millennial reign of Jesus Christ. Naledi pandemonium walona Cyril Ramaphosa walona harate Israel. And so the country is cursed, and look at what is going on. I have to leave this land. I have to leave this country. There is nothing good coming to South Africa. If you can propose bills like the ones I've just highlighted above, coupled with the fact that you hate Jews, coupled with the fact that you've called them genociders, coupled with the fact that you can't stand church, coupled with the fact that you keep persecuting the body of Christ for real, coupled with the fact that you've let the woman to suffer and suffocate and die after 10 years of sorrow, and you hope ukuthi uzogcina athathe indoda ezomnikeza ingculaza atseba ke tseba gona le HIV mara tshwantse ke lo monyala anyway because I get the choice. Tshwantse ke lo nka monna in my strato se ke la ngzama ho mpolai because this country has prospered to create a patriarchy that is so incredibly megalomaniacal that it has told women no masine media ne clap all of these STDs in one sitting. A country that has caused a mother to abandon her own child to a point of literally withholding from her basic stuff like tampons and period and painkillers on her period. That's the country you have built. If I don't get taken out of this oppressive satanic regime called South Africa, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. So kopa leska tlo surprise wa, kopa leska tlo makala. Ha se tse khathwe Karabo o tlhokafetse because it will have been coming. It is not going to happen today, and it probably won't happen tomorrow, maybe not even next week because I'm strong. Mara, I'm telling you right now, every morning it is rare that I should wake up grand. One day I'm just not gonna pitch, and you will know why. If God does not take me out of this, if I need to leave this nation, I mean really, that's why Gen Zs are in danger. That's why Gen Alpha are in trouble. Abantwana, they're not gonna be okay. Because I mean really, who the heck is my sister, my little sister, gonna marry? And who is she gonna stay married to when it is proposed under the common law that her husband can take a second and a third and a fifth and a fourth wife? A guy that is gonna make like my ex-boyfriend, uzokala right in the beginning of the relationship and then go right later on, that is one day going to become a second wife to me. These are one of my options under this present regime. I have the options. Neither do the Gen Alpha. It's only gonna go from bad to worse. The kids of my little sister, Gen Z, are going to be trained how to masturbate in kindergarten. By the South African government. There's a video that I recently read covered by a man in Kenya that read that black, you see, this thing is happening in the black community only. It's black South Africans are out here telling Israelis, essentially Jews, to go back home because they are messing with South Africa and taking away all the opportunities even in the Western Cape. Black South Africa is anti-Semitic, and Black South Africa is trying to drive Jews back to Israel, as if though what happened in Amsterdam was not bad enough. As if though what happened in American universities was not bad enough. As if though what happened in Israel under Hamas was not bad enough in their own country. But now we have got a whole bunch of black people thoroughly, literally out here trying to desecrate the peace of Jews in this country because of Naledi Pandemonium's crazy speeches, Cyril Ramaphosa's crazy speeches, crazy little genocide charge at the ICC, crazy speeches. And now the whole country is dying. All I'm saying is that this country is dying and is taking all of its best people with it. It's sinking. If the Lord does not take me out of South Africa, I'm gonna die. If the Lord does not take us in the rapture, I'm gonna die. I am inevitably going to die. So at this point, I'm literally just hoping for some miracle, like a bat out of hell from heaven, to snatch me out of this land that is South Africa in total. Because I'm not going to be able to take in my stride passing of a bill that is going to allow men under the common law to take second and third wives when I've been crying on a rooftop, singing like a canary for 10 years that this is what's going on in the country. Get chill. You've made your country, you've made your bed, now lie in it. Women, you thought you could ignore me, desecrate me until such time that eventually the entertainment industry executives, until eventually every last nefarious being in this country can succeed to get everything that they've ever wanted. To a point where now go feasible in 2024 in a country that's got so much gender-based violence for men to take second and third wives under the common law. If that happens, I'm gonna die. It's only going from bad to worse. It's a state capture. It's apartheid version volume 2.0. It's oppression volume 2.0. It is disaster. It is the thing that I'm experiencing another 50 years. I'm not going to live through this. I'm not going to do it. So may the Lord take me out with a harness somehow. I ke batlo ipolai. Mara ke hale ka tlhaloganya hore before nna ke tlonkiwa under isitembu. Ke tlonkiwa ke some side piecing man that's going to make me finally a main wife. Before nna ke tlonyala monna o divorcitsweng, o nang le disease 20, o nang le bana by 7. Before I will do any of that, I will die. Let's go warna, not that you care. Mara bottom line is this is all that your polygamy has produced, and your insistence on squashing women and making sure that they can only be helped by amadota and making abafazi, bimbos, blind, dumb, daft that cannot come through for the cause of other women because bonke they've been allowing themselves to be Nando's chicken, lying under wicked men, banza baba hemela baba fufulelwa, and then only they get jobs. I will die first. Kitla tlhokafala a modest death langkutwa. That's all that I came here to let you guys know today. Pelil, I'll give it to you. You sure know how to sting. Bye.